Hey folks, got my lawn tractor here and I want to do a modification to it so that I can do some nighttime mowing, or at least extend the evening by a half hour or so. These headlights work the way they're supposed to, but they're very faint and they more or less provide a glow out there. They don't really shine. So I bought some headlights from Harbor Freight, 12 or 13 bucks, something like that, that you can put on your car as fog lights or whatever. But I want to attach them to this thing, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it, and hopefully this thing does what I want it to do. All right, let me walk you through how I'm going to decide what to do here. This is the light. There are all kinds of different lights. You can find different ones, but this is the one I got at Harbor Freight, 15 amp halogen light. And you can see how it attaches. It's got a bolt sticking down there, and this that you can adjust. I've already determined this is probably the best spot, but another thing to keep in mind is you're going to have to run wires. You have to run the wires back to the battery. In my case, the battery is on the back of underneath the seat there. So and I need to keep the wires away from any moving parts. So you can see how these are. I'll attach it, and then what I'm probably gonna do here, I'll come over to this side, is run the wires along here and then underneath here, and there are holes in the frame that I can use zip ties to hold it on. The thing you want to watch for is make sure there are no moving parts, belts, anything like that, and then I'll run the wires to the back. It's gonna be pretty easy. I just need to go about doing this thing. So I need to attach these to the front. Obviously, like I said, I was going to put them here, but they've got to be a certain distance apart because they're bumping into each other there. And I don't want to have them right next to each other. So what I'm going to do here to figure out where I need to drill the holes is I'm going to put these against each other and then pull out my tape measure here and see what that distance is, that minimum distance. So if they were touching, the center to center distance here is 5.5 inches. So I need to drill holes here at least 6 inches apart. So what I'll do is I'm going to measure how much space I've got here, which is about 9.5 or so. But anyway, I'm going to just pick a center spot so that they're centered up here. And you can put yours wherever you want, but I'm walking you through my thought process. So do one about there, and better there. Now let's just ballpark to see what those would look like. Yeah, I think I like that. And then the base of this will sit flush against the metal there. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drill a hole the size of these bolts, and we'll go from there. I've got my spots marked where I'm going to drill the holes, and I've got my drill, and I've got it on the high speed mode, because that's the best way to drill through steel here. So, and I'm going to do this in steps: a small hole and a big hole. And when you're drilling through steel, the drill bit gets pretty hot. So what I do is I get a drop of oil on there as I'm going. Got one in there. Alright. Got my 2 holes drilled. I've taken off this nut off of the bottom of this piece. So what this should look like is I should be putting it through here and then attaching it on the other side. And you see these wires, either your wires are gonna have to go through your hole. You need to have a place for the wires to go. I'm gonna stick the wires through here and then run them. So let's get this thing situated. So here's my flat lock washer, or my lock washer there. I'll put that on. And then this nut here. Yeah. Okay, I'm putting on this headlight here, and this bolt that sticks through there there's nothing keeping it from sliding back up. So I took a small wrench here and had a helper hold that bolt down so that as I put the nut on there, that doesn't keep moving out of my way. So now that that's there, I just need to tighten it up a bit, and that first one will be on. So I'll get it kind of oriented where I think it needs to be, and then I'll tighten it. So I'm gonna be ballparking this a little bit. Obviously I need to rotate this back up, so just need to loosen up the nut underneath, then I can rotate it and we'll be good. And I think that's probably good. It'll be easier to tell when I get it all hooked up, but I've got it angled down a tiny bit, fairly straight. So I'm gonna leave it there, but I've got the lights installed where I think they're shining in the right spot. We'll test those out later. The wires will easily feed down through there. Before I run all the wires though, I've got a switch here that comes with a switch, an on-off switch, because this is going to be hooked up to the battery. So the next thing is to find a spot for the switch to go. And your tractor is going to be a little different. It really doesn't matter where you put it, just needs to be somewhere you can reach it. It could be on the outside, but mine just so happens to have a perfect spot for it right there. So I'm going to have to make a little, and I've checked, I do have access to the back. So I'm going to cut out a little rectangular hole about that size and drop that in there, and then I'll run my wires from there. Mm-hmm. I've cut the hole for this, and you can see it, and I was really pleased with the way that turned out. You can see it's going to fit in there just like it should. And what I did was I took my drill, I drilled a couple of holes and next to each other to get it started, and then somehow I had this little tiny saw here, and I was able to cut a nice hole there. And then to smooth it out, I used a little file here, smooth it. So it worked out fine. Took me about 10 minutes. These are the screws that came with this. I don't know where they want you to put them up there, probably, but that's not how we're going to mount this thing. So I'm going to have to improvise with some other screws because they certainly can't go there. They won't fit. So anyway, I've got some other screws in my pocket through here. So I'm going to just drill a couple of small holes here so that I don't ruin this when these go through. And I'm going to attach that. Now before I attach this permanently, I decided to attach the wires to the back of the switch because it's not easy to access the back of it. But make your decision for you. Now just screw those in. There we go. Got the switch in. Nice and sturdy. I'm really happy about that. It worked out better than I expected. Now I've taken this blue wire that attaches to the white of one and taken the white wire, which has a splice at the end of it so that it can splice the white of the other light with the blue wire, which was the white wire, splices them together, and this is what ran to the switch. And I already checked to make sure I've got plenty of room to tie it up and to route it off, so I'm in good shape so far. Now, got the headlights attached. I've got most of this wired up. I'm going to show you what I've done. I haven't trimmed off all of the zip ties yet because I want to leave some room so I can adjust these a little bit. One of the things I had to do, I had to ground these black wires, but they were very short. So I spliced them together up here, and then I ran a wire down to a bolt that's attached to the frame. So that's what you got to do to ground it. And I'll show you that. In fact, let's just look over here now. So there's the ground wire attached. I attached another wire to lengthen the ground wire. And then if you'll come down here, pull back here, pull back, pull back. Here's this ground wire. I've used a zip tie to keep it where it is, to keep it away from any exhaust, any hot parts. And then I just attach it to this frame, this bolt that's through the frame. So that'll be grounded there. Okay, and now I had a lot of leftover extra wire here, extra length. So I've used zip ties to attach them to other wire bundle types so that it stays away from moving parts. I still have a little bit of slack here. If I need it, I can move things, which I will. This white wire goes up to the switch. I already showed you how to do that. The last piece that I've got is the black wire and I just need to run that probably under here back to the battery. Right now I'm hungry for dinner. I'm gonna go do that, then come back and finish it off. Might be a little bit darker out here, but we're almost done. I've got it all wired up, and I want to show you how I did this. You can see I left this zip tie uncut, so you can see where the zip tie is, but these are the wires that came from the headlights. I've attached them in numerous locations to other parts of the tractor or other wire bundles so that they don't go near hot parts and that they don't near moving parts. I've got the power wire going all the way back out to the battery, same thing there. I kept it away from moving parts, away from anything hot, and should be good to go. So let's try this thing out. We're gonna try this thing out now. I've got it here, it's nighttime. I don't wanna leave this thing running real long, but when we start it up, you'll see the regular headlights, and then I'll flip the switch for the new headlights and we'll see how it looks. Here we go. The neighbors are gonna be mad, but I'm pretty happy. That worked pretty awesome. I hope yours goes this well and you can get some nighttime lawn mowing in too. Thanks for watching.